You Now from Safeco Field in Seattle, MLB The Show is on the air. It should be a good cut. Ariel Miranda, the Cuban-born southpaw. Gets the starting nod. What do you have for us on him, H?
Well, Matt, he's got 5 pitches, and I love the fact he mixes them.
There's a swing and a drive hit well out to right field. Meanwhile, now this ball's trouble as it looks like it'll be good for extra bases.
If that's any indication, I think we're going to see some aggressive at-bats in this one. Take the first pitch of the game? No way. He squared it up and winds up on second base after a nice line drive. Great opportunity to get on the board right out of the blocks.
Here's Ender Inciarte as the first pitch to him is swung on and missed for strike 1. Looking to get something to the right side with that leadoff man at second to start the ball game. Down the first baseline, but this will be a foul ball as he's behind 0-2 now. Popped up, calling for it, Seager, and he hauls it in for the first out of the inning. Digging in the switch hitter, Jose Ramirez. First appearance for him here with the leadoff man still at second and 1 gone now. Now a swing and a miss. Took something off that one, and it's strike 1. And there is our officiating crew in this one, calling balls and strikes, Mr. Freddie Ferguson.
Yeah, Matt, Freddie might call a few strikes below the knees in this one, but he tends to get pretty good review.
It's a high fly ball headed for the left field corner. If it stays fair, it's gone. And this had home run distance, but it just does hook foul. Line, but speared on a hop. Throw in time at first for out number 2.
Batting fourth, catcher.
So digging in now, Gary Sanchez. First opportunity for him here with the leadoff man still standing at second. 2 gone now. Hit hard to third. A diving effort as it's off his glove. And a good effort here, but he's well safe at first, and there are 2 on and 2 out now. Coming to the plate now, Justin Smoak. It's a good first inning RBI spot for him. Runners at the corners and 2 gone. I had him lunging at that one out of the zone, and that's strike 1.
Man, he got him out front on that one. That was a beautiful pitch. Really taking advantage of him.
Looking to wiggle out of this. Here it is. Line drive to center field. Gamble is there, and he puts this one away for the 3rd out. So a great job there of working out a potential trouble. So a couple of hits here in the top half, but nothing comes of it. Marcus Stroman, a right-hander from the Empire State, gets the starting assignment here. What do we need to know here, HR?
Well, Matt, he's got 5 pitches, and I mean, they're all good. He throws them for strikes. He dominates. He mixes, speeds up. I asked him one day, what's your best pitch? And he told me all 5.
And it's grounded foul. From the windup, the 1-1 pitch. Hit back up the middle. And that'll get on through into center field, so he's got himself a leadoff single.
Well, this is the recipe they want. Their pitcher comes out, throws a scoreless top of the first, and then you get a leadoff single to start the bottom of the inning. Good start.
Ben Gamble is next as he finds himself behind 0-1.
Well, Matt, as advertised, he's broke out with a good fastball. He likes to pitch out the fastball, but this was in the mid-90s. We'll see him be aggressive most of this game with that fastball.
A runner at first with no outs here. Swings through it for strike number 2.
Well, that is a good pitch. A sinker down with that kind of movement, it is really hard to hit. No wonder he swung and missed. It looks like he just swung right over that sinker right there. What is so hard about a sinker, you have to almost go underneath it and scoop it. If you got one of those swings that goes over the top, you're never going to hit him.
And he will scurry back to first as he'll think twice about trying to move up. Now at the plate, Nelson Cruz. First chance for him here with a runner at first and 1 gone. And this one's hit on the ground, but foul. Runners on first with 1 down. And this one's in the dirt. Good job keeping it close as the count goes to 1-1. 1-1, here it comes. And he leaves the fastball up there. Mistaken location. He is going to pay for it dearly as that ball is sent over the wall. A home run.
On
pretty sure he was too focused on the man at first, worried about the steal, and just made a mistake with that pitch. It's all well and good to control the running game, but you have to make sure it doesn't distract from your main job, getting the guy at the plate with the bat in his hands.
Bases are empty, one man out. Hit hard on the ground at first. Oh, and it eats him up a bit. And they'll have no play as he reaches first base safely.
Batting fifth.
Stepping in, Mitch Haniger, as he'll get his first opportunity in this one. And this is low, ball one. Runner at first here, one man out. Mike Montgomery enters to make an appearance on the mound as he inherits a runner at first with one out in the inning. A 1-0 delivery. Changeup stays outside and he's behind 2-0.
Wow, not a great spot to be in right now. 2-0 to a great hitter like this. This is when you really have to pay attention as a pitcher. And if you have good off-speed stuff, this might be the time to start mixing in your off-speed stuff.
And forget about the double play now as he'll move up to second here on the wild pitch. Runner at second here with one man out. And he finally gets this one over for strike one. Called strike, and that'll run it full.
I don't know about his decision not to swing there. Hitters count. You get a fastball middle in. That's the one you drive out of the ballpark.
Line to the right side. And that's in there. Base hit. Cano rounds third and is digging for the plate. And the run will score from second here as this is now a 3-0 game. At the plate, Kyle Seager. First shot for him here with a runner at first now and one away. A fastball, and he swings through it to fall behind. Ready with the 0-1 pitch. And there he goes towards second. In the dirt here. Pitch is in the dirt and knocked down, and he'll make it into second easily with a stolen base. And this is going to be a foul ball. Working for the punch out and the offering. A swing and a miss for out number 2, and a ball he had no chance of making contact with. Stepping up now, Danny Valencia. Another first inning RBI opportunity for him here. Ball one. The 1-0 delivery. And this is popped fouled off to the right and back into the seats. Here it comes on 1-1. That gets down, and the inning will continue. Haniger is on his way home. And another runs across as this is now a 4-0 ball game.
Boy, he really picked his teammate up right there with 2 outs and following a strikeout to get the base hit and drive a run in. That is really a special feeling, but man, he really lifted his team up with that.
Set up away with the changeup, but it's 1-1. 4 runs here in this half inning. There's a swing and a ball lifted to left, but back in the seats, out of play. It's 1-2. And he strikes him out here, so he's able to stop the bleeding a bit as this side is retired. Into the box now, Didi Gregorius. And they've got some work to do early on, down 4-0 already. And a fastball swung on and hit to second. There's Cano. Throw to first will be in time, and there's one gone here to start the second. Standing in, Mitch Haniger. He'll get to take his first cuts here. Here comes the first pitch. Swinging a ball hit on the ground. This is foul for the first strike. Into the windup. Here comes the 0-1. Hit hard towards center. That gets down, and he's got himself a base hit. The throw into second. And he is safe at second base as he legs out a double. And he's out at third. Might have gotten a little greedy that time.
Second baseman.
Now at the plate, Rougned Odor. He'll work on keeping this top of the second alive. And that is in there for a 2-out base knock. But fortunately, he'll hold on at first with just a single.
The 8-hitter gets a base hit. You know how important that is? Now the pitcher has to hit in this inning, and he doesn't lead off next inning, possibly clogging the bases or starting the inning with basically 1 out. That's a big hit.
Good swing, just got to try and straighten that one out. Comes set, and the 0-1. There's a ball ripped toward the gap in left center. And this is going to get to the wall now out near the Mariner bullpen. So now they'll have 2 men in scoring position following the 2-out double. And now he'll get into scoring position with 2 away.
The good news for pitchers in this park is that it doesn't give up many home runs. A lot of room in the outfield. Sometimes that's the bad news as well, though, because there's a lot of space for hits to get down and to go for extra bases just like that.
Here's the 0-1. This is swung on and popped up, crossing into foul territory now behind third. Seager is there, and he puts this one away for the 3rd out. So a great job there of working out a potential trouble. Jarrod Dyson will get the call here as he'll hit for the pitcher. Matt Bush enters from the bullpen to do the pitching. A high fastball is in there.
Well, these hitters can expect to see a heavy dose of that big fastball from this reliever. It's a major part of his arsenal.
Well, I think his eyes lit up when he saw that pitch coming up at his eye level.
Yeah, good luck. But hey, a high fastball all of a sudden becomes really dangerous for a pitcher if it's not spotted above the zone. A little height difference makes all the difference.
Now a swing and a ball chopped foul right at home plate. 0-2 count. Here's the pitch. And here's a ball hit in the air. And that's in there. Base hit. So the leadoff man reaches base to start out their half of the 2nd inning.
Found himself down 0-2. Battles through these tough pitches right here and then gets to the 5th pitch. He never gave up, continued to fight, and what do you know, base hit on the 5th pitch.
Jean Segura will stand in for the 2nd time now as he looks at a called strike. It's 0-1. Dyson off for second. Pitch outside, the throw, and it's far too late as he steals second with ease.
Hey, it's not easy to steal on a catcher that has a good arm, but he did just that and beats that throw into second base.
Very high, 2-1.
I'm pretty surprised by the location on those last 3 pitches. The book on him is that he hits the away pitch pretty well, and he just saw 3 in a row out there.
So does he go back out there again?
No, Matt, I expect him to mix it up. Most catchers won't call for the same location over and over and over.
Fastball swung on and missed for the 1st out.
Okay, here's the defense for the away team, brought to you by Majestic. I'm looking down there, shortstop Didi Gregorius. I love how this guy defends. You know, coming to New York and replacing Derek Jeter, that's a lot of pressure. But I knew he could handle it when I had a conversation with Brandon Phillips, and he told me he's got the best hands he played with when he was with the Reds.
So 2 pitches in a row on the outside corner for strikes. You think he stays out there?
I think he does. One thing you don't want to do, though, Matt, it's not a good idea to throw the same hitter, the same pitch 3 times in a row, back to back to back, but I think he might throw it here.
Ready for another chance? Nelson Cruz. He went deep in his first at-bat. We'll see what he's got in store for us here. And he gets ahead here with the fastball. Strike 1. Off the plate and in. It's a ball and a strike.
What good inside fastball right there. Trying to tie the hitter up, trying to keep him from getting those arms extended. A pitcher's pitch.
And that fastball's too much for him there. 1-2. Here's the 1-2 delivery. This one's down to third. Ramirez is up with it. Throw on to Smoke at first, and the side is retired. So no runs here on a base hit, no errors, and 1 man left aboard. David Phelps, a 6'2" right-hander, jogs in to take over on the mound.
David Phelps.
And he pops it up, drifting just beyond the infield. And there to take this one in is Cano for the 1st out.
Now batting.
Digging in for his 2nd at-bat, Jose Ramirez. 0 for 1 for him here in this one. Here's the first pitch to him. And he jumps at a changeup, a swing and a miss.
Well, he swung right through that on that changeup. The changeup is a tough pitch to swing at for the first pitch, because you haven't measured his velocity yet, so you don't know what you're going to see coming your direction.
And he'll step on first himself for the out.
Now batting, catcher.
Well, now the Mariners get some action in the bullpen as a left-hander's begun to get loose. Gary Sanchez swings and misses there, so he's down 0-1. Now the 0-1. Now his swing, and he pops him up, and this should do it. Segura is there, makes the catch, and the ball game is over. 4-0 the score this afternoon. Marcus Stroman couldn't get out of the first in this one as he takes the loss. So that'll just about do it. MLB The Show has baseball from the Pacific Northwest and Safeco Field in Seattle. Tonight, it's Conquest Baseball. Between the Cobras and the Mariners.
And Gamble.
Chop fouled over towards the coaching box. The windup and the 0-1. And boy, this at-bat is not starting off well as he's behind 0-2 now.
Pretty lucky to get away with that one. There's not a situation ever where you want to throw a high changeup, so I think he'll try to make an adjustment with the next one he throws.
And a spin throw gets him at first. A fine play there for the first out.
Center fielder, number 11.
Here's Ender Inciarte.
Inciarte.
First pitch on its way from Gallardo. This is line to left. That gets down, and he's got himself a base hit.
Take a look at this again in slow motion. He tracks this thing all the way, gets his hands quickly through the zone, and just rips it down the left field line, just how they draw it up.
Stepping in now, Jose Ramirez,
as he sends a soft bouncer to the right side of the infield.
And he won't even think about second as he'll flip on to first for the sure out.
Batting fourth.
Striding in,
Catcher.
Gary Sanchez. Opportunity for him here to pick up that runner from second with 2 away. First pitch on its way. And he'll try to take control of the inside part of the plate with the fastball as he backs him off a bit.
Hey, that's a classic piece of pitching right there. You have to back hitters away from the plate to make them a little bit uncomfortable. Now you can go inside or outside. I like that purpose pitch.
And this is lifted in the air out to left. Haniger is there, makes the catch, and the side is retired. Gene Segura standing in. He'll lead things off here in the bottom half of the first.
Leading off for the Mariners, the shortstop, Sheen.
In there for strike one. Into the windup. Here comes the 0-1. Grounded foul toward the coaching box at third. Into the windup. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss on the fastball, and that's the first out. And that'll bring up Ben Gamel.
Batting second, center fielder, Ben Gamel.
And that misses for ball one.
Well, he punched out the last guy, but he didn't get any favors from the blue on the first pitch in this at-bat. Probably should be ahead of this hitter instead of behind.
And 2-0 now as this misses below the knees. Time to check our umpires in this one. Behind the plate is Freddie Ferguson.
Well, Ferg really does call a solid game back there. He does reward a pitcher for good location at times, but his reviews tend to be very good most of the time.
Following next is Nelson Cruz. He waits on deck. And he missed with that one. It's ball four. A one-out walk here in the home first.
Batting third, right fielder, Nelson Cruz.
In the dirt, and now let's see. And forget about the double play now as he'll move up to second here on the wild pitch. The set and the 1-0 pitch. Hit sharply on the ground. And that's through into right field for a base hit. Now a long throw home. And not in time as the run scores.
Well, he comes up with the big RBI hit right there and puts them ahead in this ball game. If they can keep a lead, get to that bullpen, they got a shot to win this game.
Ooh, and heads up as this is pulled foul. Ready with the 0-1 pitch. Chopped foul at the plate here, and it's 0-2. Runners on first with one down. Swing and a line drive. Throw to first, and Cano's a ground out victim. Two gone.
Batting fifth, left
Now
fielder,
at the plate, Mitch Haniger. Opportunity for him here to pick up that runner from second with two away. Swinging a ball hit on the ground. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Another one fouled off, and he's quickly behind 0-2. Two out here and a runner at second. Another one sent foul. In the dirt here, and he'll hurry back to second here as he was wise to not push it that time. Working for the punch out and the offering. Swing, and he pops him up over toward foul territory. Smoke is there, and the side is retired. A run, a hit. Digging in, the switch hitter, Justin Smoke. He'll lead things off here against Giovanni Gallardo.
Justin Smoke.
And this is fouled at the plate. The windup and the 0-1. Swing and a liner. Foul.
Well, he fouled that breaking ball off a little bit early. Timing not quite there. Had a fastball to pitch before. He just got out in front of that breaking ball.
Swing and a miss as he ran the fastball right by him for the first out.
Time for a look at the majestic defensive alignment for the Mariners.
Batting sixth,
And yes, they move players all over the field. They love to shift heavily into the analytics and really apply it to their club. You'll see guys moving all over the field today.
Very weakly on the ground. Foul ball, strike two. Bases are empty, one man out. Little dribbler back at him. Throw on to first, two gone.
batting seventh, left fielder,
Striding into the box, Mitch Haniger. He'll work on keeping this top of the second alive. Hot shot down the line. Oh, look at Seager to first. Wow. Digging in now, Kyle Seager.
Leading
He'll
off
get
for the
us going
Mariners.
here in the bottom half of the
third
second.
baseman, Kyle
And he lays off
Seager.
there 1-0.
Right there is a temptation pitch. Power hitters like this are looking for pitches that they can drive. So that may have been one where he was trying to get him to chase up above the zone a little bit. Now with the 2-0 count and the power at the plate, it could be fireworks time. This is the kind of count he makes his money in.
Out in front as this is pulled foul into the seats. Into the windup. Here's the 2-1 pitch. A swing and a miss just out in front of that fastball. Yeah, we see a lefty and a right-hander start to loosen up in the bullpen. Now the fastball is right by him as he swings and misses for the first out of the inning.
Time for a look at the majestic defensive alignment for the visitors. I'm looking down there at shortstop, Didi Gregorius. I love how this guy defends. You know, coming to New York and replacing Derek Jeter, that's a lot of pressure. But I knew he could handle it when I had a conversation with Brandon Phillips, and he told me he's got the best hands he played with when he was with the Reds.
Driven down the left field line. Will it stay fair? It will as it heads to the corner. A fair ball. Running hard. He's digging for second. And he's in there easily at second with a one-out double.
And he just blasts this thing down the left field line. I thought it might bend foul, but it lands just inside the chalk.
Now out of the dugout comes the manager as he'll make his way towards the mound. And he's seen enough here. That's going to be all for Tyler Skaggs. Mike Zunino comes on with one gone here as he looks at a called strike one.
Now, Matt, this is the tough part of being the 8-hitter. That ball's right down the middle. So it makes me wonder, is he trying to give his pitcher a breather, or is he just not being aggressive? With the pitcher hitting behind you, you get a ball groove, you got to take a big hack.
I guess he's really trying to measure that fastball in his first at-bat, but you really never want to put yourself in 0-2 count if you could do anything about it.
Well, he's sitting pretty right now, Matt. 1-2. You definitely want to get this guy out. Don't give him too much to hit, make him chase. But you got the pitcher on the on-deck circle. You want him to start next half inning.
Gerard Dyson has grabbed a bat now, so it appears he'll hit for the pitcher, Gallardo. First pitch here misses wide, 1-0. 1-0 pitch on the way. Hard hit ball to short, taken in by Gregorius. And they will get he's in there. A very close play at first.
The batter, number 2, shortstop.
Digging in to try it again. Gene Segura. Twos all over the place. 2 on, 2 out, and of course here in inning number 2.
Oh, he missed that pitch. I tell you what, as the pitcher, he's got to gain his composure. You can see guys fall apart after you see a ball in the zone that long, get called a ball on it.
That hole getting a little deeper now. It's 2-0. Ready with the 2-0. Takes a look at one catching the outside corner.
Well, that looked like a good pitch to hit right there. I thought he might be swinging 2-0, but that's what makes him such a good hitter. He's really zeroing in on his spot. He got the fastball he's looking for, but it wasn't in the location.
Runners on first and third, 2 away. And a fastball swung on and missed, and the side is retired. So it's no runs on. Welcome back to Major League Baseball on the show from Seattle, Washington. All set now for the top of the third in this one. David Phelps, a 6'2" right-hander, jogs in to take over on the mound. Here's Rougned Odor now. He'll lead things off here in this one-run contest.
Rougned Odor.
And the first pitch is chopped foul at the plate at strike one. Into the windup. Here comes the 0-1. And he jumps at a changeup, a swing and a miss. Into the windup. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. On the ground softly towards second. Throw to first in time, and the leadoff man is gone to start the third.
Batting ninth, the pitcher, number
Kevin Kiermaier will grab a bat and hit for the pitcher here. Well, now the Mariners get some action in the bullpen as a left-hander's begun to get loose. Good swing there, but this is foul off to the right side. The windup and the 0-1. A swing and a miss on a ball that jammed him.
He had some really good late action on that slider right there. It's hard to do anything with that pitch unless you're sitting on it and catch it out front before it breaks all the way in.
Now a swing and a miss here as he's down on strikes. So it's 2 up, 2 down to begin the third.
Ben Gamel.
Lifted the other way out to left center.
Haniger in pursuit.
Makes the catch, and that's the ball game. A single run good enough to do it today. 1-0 the final score. Seattle claimed the victory despite being held to only 3 hits. Tyler Skaggs was unable to work out of the second inning as he settled with the loss. So that'll